So I keep thinking we need to give our children very good names. Yeah, like Faith, you know. Faith. It means maybe because of that name, the blessings of the parents, and I think they did a good job. So I was talking to my friends back home, and I was telling them it's time we also go to Rift Valley and get married there. Those who haven't gotten married, maybe we might get some very good runners. You know, you never know.
All right, let's hear from, of course, Richard Onyonka, especially on the issue. And I want us, because both of you actually are on the ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
And you have now the reports there. I can see the state on trial if you look at the Daily Nation as well, before you go to the issues of the day regarding also the cartoons as well. You have what it says here on the front page of the Daily Nation, state on trial. And now the state is being blamed on the issue of the Shakahola because of a negligence. I know this has been on your table, Danson Mugatana.
Yes.
And Richard Onyonka as part of this committee as well.
Yes.
And so far, where are we at? It seems the number is continuing to go up and up.
Well, first of all, it's true that some of the members who have come to the committee have really placed the blame squarely on the security agencies. It is true that some of the submissions we have received have pointed a finger, an accusing finger, at the security agencies. Because how could all this have happened when nothing was being done? And the lawyer for the owners of the Chakama Ranch,
Yes.
Ranch and Company Limited, who are the owners of that Shakahola, even said that they actually have an OB that showed that they had made reports of strange activities happening there, but no action was taken. Equally, the minister has come before us and said he believes that there are some people who slept on the job. So these are some of the things that have come up. So it is true, there's a problem, and it has gone even to the judicial system. Some of the people who have made submissions before us have said, how could people fail to secure convictions in such a manner? It seemed like there were also lenient bail terms and so on. But then again, when the DPP came, he gave a fresh insight into the whole thing. How do you secure conviction from witnesses who are completely scared of the accused person? So when they come before the accused person to give their evidence, they are not free to do so. So some of them would even change their evidence when they are before the court. So in those earlier cases, there was a problem because you cannot prosecute a case without having witnesses. But in this particular one now, I think the whole multi-sectoral justice system is there. The victims are being counseled, potential witnesses are being prepared in good time, and the psychology aspect of it, the psychological aspect of it is being taken care of.
The psychosocial.
Psychosocial aspect of it is being taken care of. So I think it's going to be a different ballgame. So for me, it's not it's too early for me to really take position in this matter. We still have a few more days to go. We'll file the full reports. Some of these things will come out. Senate will debate, and if they adopt the report, I think we have a lot of changes that need to be done within our systems to make them more responsive to what is happening in our society.
Fantastic. Right, Richard Onyoko, you wanted to weigh in on this as well, or briefly?
I'll agree with you. The issue is, I really shouldn't say much after my chair has spoken. But I think the brush out that I could do is that one of the issues that came up, and I know that my chair is going to be diplomatic enough not to go that route, is that we hope that the CS will allow all the individuals. I think if you ask the chair on who was discussing what is to be discussed and actually what happened, there were those government officers who were at site at this particular time. If you remember in the media, what actually happened is that they were all transferred.
Yes.
So when the CS comes and says that I'm going to issue a statement about this matter and we are not going to allow many of or any of these people who are at site at the same time, that becomes worrisome.
Yes.
Because this matter needs thorough interrogation, thorough analysis of the data and information, conclusive if possible, and very, very serious suggestions on what is to be done. We need to look at our laws. We're still using the penal code to deal with religious matters. And you see, Dibal, the truth is very few people would be willing to actually come out and make those very serious recommendations that require for us to basically oversight the church.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything illegal or criminally untoward or that would be violating people's rights if we actually basically sanitize the church without infringing on the rights of the church members, infringing on their ability to worship and their rules and regulations. I think just like any sector, whether it's the medical industry, whether it's the construction industry, whether it's any industry, the people who manage this industry have to qualify for the basic minimum level of education, for example. If you look at the total number of people that are involved in these churches and the amounts of money that is involved in these churches, I think we need to look at it very deeply and make sure that whatever recommendations we make, because as Chair has told you, most of the stakeholders have nearly finished giving their opinions and their suggestions.
Yes.
And I think with my able leadership of my Chair, Honorable Mgatana, I believe that the report will be honest, will be open, and will have very critical, fundamental recommendations on what is to take place.
On objectivity, well, that's where you seek honesty as well.
Yes.
Let's drop in Senator Hilary Sigay. Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Deba.
Yes.
I'm happy to see you as well.
Yeah.
As my colleagues. Just noticed today now your bench or panel, comprises the Senate, so we should be dealing with devolution. My colleagues, Senator Mbatana, and my colleagues and neighbor Senator Onyonka.
Yes, and of course also they're fighting for the fertilizers to be given to the wards.
Wards level.
Yeah, will tell us more.
And that is the conversation that we should have. We should be asking the government to make sure that the lowest level of administration, being the ward, is served with not only the fertilizers, every other service that comes from the government must reach out to the lowest level of government administration, and typically that's what devolution was meant to be. Dibala, I'm just a bit worried about the headline, "The Nation State on Trial." It's a screaming headline, which when you look at the content, it doesn't warrant that it's a reference to state on trial.
You think it's an exaggeration?
It is an exaggeration, particularly because of the situation that we are currently experiencing in our country. Yet the story is about the contents of what my colleague were discussing on the religious...
But we have the flag there. It's a Shakahola horror.
Yes. And Shakahola horror is not as screaming as state on trial. The first thing I thought when I saw it is that state on trial, we are talking about the demos, we're talking about the issues within the country, only for me to realize that the only screaming element here and the only issue about state on trial is wheels of justice slowly turn and the country slowly recovers from Shakahola tragedy. That warrants now the headline. But nonetheless, I'm very sure that in the fullness of time, we definitely shall appreciate the fact that the wheels of justice are indeed slow,
will prevail.
But it is going to prevail, yes, at the end of the day. But otherwise, I'm happy again to, be among the Kenyans who woken up today, looking forward to a great week and also looking forward to a changed Kenya and a changed, effort to make things better and to work towards changing such headlines to headlines which gives Kenyans hope, which also speaks to what is very positive about what people are doing, what the government is doing, and where we are headed to as a country.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, set on trial. That is the Daily Nation. Why Ruto and Raila and Uhuru wore a risky gamble. We shall be discussing this as well. This is also what is on the front page of the Star. And Uhuru, keep my family out of this. I wanted us just to also look at the editorial cartoons briefly, if we may. We had actually started that. And I wanted us to just look at what we have on the front page. This is the editorial page of the Standard this morning. I extend my handshake of friendship. You can look at that editorial cartoon there, right? And we have, as always, personified as Arab Singh, holding an AK-47 and proffering his hand to, of course, greet Raila Odinga there. This is in the Daily Nation. What would you say, Richard Onyonka, looking at that editorial cartoon? And especially just putting it in the perspective of what we are actually going through right now. What will be your sentiment?
My honest observation is that cartoon actually expresses the general feeling on our side. And that feeling is that the president is